Okay, so let's start. So in this session, we'll be doing the hands-on in creating a simple Flask application, which is deployed in a local development server. Okay. Now, when you get to PyCharm IDE, the various regions you're familiar, and here is the menu on the top. This is an interactive development environment for simplifying application development to build Python-based applications. Okay, so out here you have new project. Okay, so which starts a new project under the file menu. Okay, so when you create any project, it maps to a folder in your desktop. So here is some development folder I would create. So which just maps the under C InfoSure dev. I can put any number of projects here. So this is my default path. Okay, where the project is located. It's a folder under this path. So when you say new project, the project and its files, the Python file, the HTML files, which will get created, will be created under that folder. Okay. So when I click new project, it's giving me options: pure Python project, InfoSure dev. Okay. And it's given a default name there. Okay. And this is the name of your project. I am just going to leave it as it is. Now, location InfoSure dev. That means what it will do is it will create a subfolder under this path, InfoSure dev. Okay, you can point to any location. And it's giving me interpreter project env, venv, and a Python version. So this is pointing to where Python is located. C Python 3.10, the current version I'm using is 3.10.7 / python.exe. This is the Python executable file, which is also called the interpreter. Now, the interpreter type is a virtual environment where the executable is inside this environment. Why this way? Because I could, in this case, when I start a new project, I have the version as 3.10.7. There could be another project which I have built earlier, let's say a student or a library system, okay, student application or a library application that could be running on a previous version of Python. So there is a virtual environment folder, venv, from inside which the Python version is associated to that virtual environment. This helps my current project to be in one version and the older project to be in, let's say, a previous version. Okay, it could be in Python 3.9 or Python 2.7, like that. It can maintain its own Python executable version to that project. Okay, so that's what a virtual environment does. Okay, this is though different from a direct installation of Python in your desktop. What's happening here is when you did a direct installation, it put a certain version, latest version of Python on a folder. However, each project an application developer can work on could be in different versions, like older versions. So you can point to those versions literally in this interpreter. Okay, so that's what it does. It allows the version to be associated to your project, and each version is modular to that project. Okay, so that's what a virtual environment does. It virtualizes and gives you a different set of versions different set of interpreters. Each version is having a pointer to a python.exe file. It's an interpreter. Okay, this exe file is the interpreter, and that is allowed in the virtual environment. So virtual environment is linked to this project folder, and the Python version and the interpreter is linked to that particular virtual environment. Is this clear? Okay. Now out here, new pure Python. I could also create other Django framework, but here pure Python folder. So it just has a create button here. So that's how you typically start. Okay, and it gives this message: open the project in this window. Okay, so in this window, yes. So then a total new project is getting created. And everything on the setting is pointing to my Python 3.10.7 version. And keep in mind, when you have to work on Flask, you have to install that Flask into this specific interpreter, okay, in this specific version. Okay, so that's what it does. Okay, when you go to settings and you click on we'll see that setting once again. Okay, so just give it a moment. It's just creating a project, and you will see as soon as this completes, you will see that under InfoSure Dev, it's created Python 3, Python project 3. Okay, so that's the folder which it created by default. Okay. Well, okay, so that's taking a moment here. So the next step after creating, it gives a default main.py, a default Python file, which is the main Python file you will run. Okay, and to install Flask, we'll have to go to settings. Okay, so just I don't know why it's taking some time. Let me just close this slide deck to manage some space or memory here. So here you see the previous versions, what we created. You will see different folders for each of the previous versions we created. Okay, we created the templates folder, and here is the main, the hello, all that. Okay. Oops. Okay, so so that's that. Let's see if it is through. What's this? So at your end, you can create the same. Okay, it's taking some time out here, but let me pause the recording. Screen sharing is paused. Okay, hold on. See on the recording. Okay, I'm because the screen is taking some time at my end. So when you go to settings, could you just close this and come back once again? Yeah. Yeah. Go to settings, file, settings. Yeah, one below, correct. And here you see the menu below version control, project, the project name, Python project 1. Click on that. Now that's going to give you the Python interpreter. Click on the Python interpreter there under settings. Yes, that one. So this is your installations, that plus symbol, what you saw earlier. That's the one. Okay. So on the menu, you look for, yeah, what happened here? Yeah. No, 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 not Flask there. You will have to uh, close that part of the editor. I think, yeah, close there. Okay. Here you'll see project, yeah, project colon Python project name. So every time project colon, the name of the project will come and the Python interpreter will come like this. This first time it showed that link, no? Once you click, then this region opens up. And now the next time you came back, no, no, close that one moment, please. The next time you came back, um, Python interpreter and the project structure directly appear on the left pane. Okay, so when you click project Python interpreter, this right region shows the interpreter and this plus here, the package version, the latest version. Package shows all the packages which are to be installed or which are there. Version shows what is the current version which is there in this project, whereas latest version could be a later version, the newer version from the open source repository or where Python projects are typically available. So here pip standing for the Python package installer, right? So that has to be the latest version to install anything further. So if you see the version is different, so the arrow next to that pip, you should click and bring it to 24.2. Okay, package installer for Python, right? Is pip, and so yeah, you can click on that arrow. Yeah, or you can, yeah, just double click or click on that arrow. That should be, yeah, hold on. Okay, yeah, the left region pip is highlighted in blue, and yeah, specify, click on install package. Correct. Yeah, install package. So every time you make sure pip is the latest. Okay, and this is installing from pypi.org, and the pip in this environment will get upgraded to the latest version, and that is required because pip has to do all the installation tasks for other packages, right? So that's, yeah, so this purple bar comes package pip installed successfully, click OK. That's okay. Now once again, don't need to close, just hold on. We have to go to install setup tools as well. So just click back on the menu to go back to settings. Uh, Setup tools. Yeah. Type in setup tools. You're okay. That's the correct menu. Yeah. Click on plus and type in the available packages. It allows you to search the packages. So please type in setup tools. No, one word, one word. Setup tools. Best way is to just go in completely type setup tools. Setup wizard, setup panel. There it is. Okay, completely type setup tools and then click on that. Yeah, click on the specific version. Correct. Yeah, install package. Yeah. Could you scroll down on this left navigator scroll bar? There is, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, keep scrolling. That's the correct one. Yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of setup tools for, yeah, this got completed. Now, now search Flask to install the Flask library, search Flask. Yeah, available packages. Yeah, type in Flask. Yeah, so that's one. Click on that bar there and say specific version. Yeah, 303 install package. Installing, shown in the blue status next to the Flask. Yes. Okay, just click on close. So it got installed now. Okay, Flask was installed. So you'll see Jinja 2, Markup Safe, Workzig, all Colorama, and all the other dependent packages are installed. Okay, and everything is the latest versions. So this is good. Click OK, and you can come out of this. Yeah. Okay, now click, right click on the Python project 1 folder there. Yeah, right click there. New, the first menu. On the pop-up menu, choose Python file, new Python file, correct. Now type app, or type main dot, any name, main dot p, main, M-A-I-N dot py. No, not two, just main dot py. That should, not main two
For the
dot py.
main.py, I have another one. Should I use that one? Or...
Oh, you have one. Okay, just name it app.py, app. That should be okay. File names should be unique, that's all. So, yeah, correct. Enter. Okay. Now, in this is where you will create the, yeah, that's okay. You're good with that. Okay. Um, so here you'll say from Flask, import Flask. So you can choose a boilerplate code, or yeah, you can start from Flask, import Flask. Yeah, I think it's from Flask in lowercase. The, yeah, from the first Flask is in, no, second one is uppercase. The first one is, yeah, lowercase. Okay, so that's right. So from Flask, import Flask, enter. Then you go create app is equal to Flask and yeah, is equal to Flask, F in capital case here in this case, because what you imported you're using within brackets. Yeah, you can choose from that prompt also. See, within yeah, Flask, choose from the prompt. Yeah, double click on that. No. So after Flask, you open the bracket. Yeah, double underscore name. It's prompting certain, yeah, choose from that list. Yeah, that's right. So this is where the application is created. How this syntax is object equal to class. Okay, app is your object is equal to Flask within name is the syntax. Okay, so we learned the app is now an object, okay, of that particular Flask class. Now further down you go about yeah, well, leave a blank line. Yeah. So here, what you can do is you include a decorator at, yeah, basically you can define your function here, yeah, at app.route, app.route, route. Choose that, choose whatever is prompting, just choose from there. So app.route within bracket, within quote, it is a slash, like, yeah, that's right. So then, yeah, enter. Yeah, very good. So def, now you're defining the view. Okay. So when that route comes, what are you connecting the view to? Okay. So def space. Here you can give any name. We are giving index, 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 a typical convention. Yeah, it's a function. Okay. Def index. Yeah, you have that. Okay. One moment. We def route index. Def index has a parenthesis just within brackets, colon. Just put empty brackets, open and close brackets. No spaces there. Yes. And the brackets are similar to the regular brackets. Now say colon, enter, colon, and enter. Yeah. And here you say hello, print hello world, right? Oh, sorry, what it is doing? Return, it's returning, return. Keyword is return. Yeah, remove the hello world ahead, yeah, and paste it after the return. Return, okay, yeah, space, no, return space. It's going to return a string. So within return, give a double quote. Yeah, anytime a string. Yeah, now say hello world. Yeah, put an exclamation mark. That should be okay. Yeah. Now that's your view, and come down few lines or one line, leave a blank line. Yeah. So now what you're going to do is you're going to call app.run. You can typically say app.run, nothing wrong, but yeah, it's the syntax which they've been following is if name equal to main, like this. Name equal to main. If the anytime the name is much like what's inside the Flask brackets, double underscore is required. If double underscore name, yeah, before the, yeah, give two double underscores name and following trailing is, yeah, leave one space, double equal to is equal to, yeah, single quote. Yeah, now again double underscore preceding and following the word main. M-A-I, lowercase, M-A-I-N, double. Yeah, and then at the end of the line, a colon. So what this does is, it will allow typically the app.py to be run from the terminal, okay? externally. But here we are not doing that. So let it be. Okay. Yeah. Then come on to next line. We're not done here. What happened? When this is a case, when Python encounters, probably can you zoom up your screen, please? Okay, okay, I've zoomed up at my end. No problem, no problem. So wait, hold on. Yeah. So if name equal to main means what? It means that when it allows you to, in earlier versions of Python, this syntax was there, okay? Which means that anytime a .py file, in this case app.py, is run from the DOS prompt saying that Python space app.py, it can run that independently. The value of the variable double underscore name will fetch that value of main. Okay, so when it is a case, it is allowing that script to be run from the prompt, from the DOS prompt with Python. But that is not the case here because we are running it inside the PyCharm IDE. Okay, so if name equal to main is redundant here, though let it be. Okay, enter. Yeah. Now all we are doing here is when that's the case, enter. Yeah, go to the next line. What happened? Uh, Enter key. Are you able to hear me? Yeah, okay. App dot run. App dot run. That's simple. Okay, within open close bracket. Now, this is sufficient, but though it will prompt debug. Okay, there it is. Debug equal to true. You can put that also, debug. Yeah, choose from the no brackets. Debug equal to, yeah, true is T capital case in Python. Just yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, very good. So that's all to this. Uh, for some reason, the from got line 1 and 2 got added with other stuff. You can remove them. Line 1 and 2 from doc test, all that came through. You can just blank point and remove them. Yeah, remove. Yeah, and remove the blank lines also. Yeah. So this is your application code. 9 lines of code, simple. Okay. Now what you're going to do, let me check. Now file save or just do Control S on a keyboard or choose from the file menu. Go back to that lines. The menu on the top left with the lines is also called the hamburger menu. Okay, because it resembles a bunch of burgers. Okay, yeah. Go to say save all below the local history there. Yeah, yeah. There you go. So it saved everything. Okay, good habit. Or that's equal to mapping it as Control plus yes. Okay, then you can now look at the top right corner where you will see the green button to run this app.py. Okay, so I'm not seeing it from here. So can you see the green arrow? Not that one. Okay, run. Yeah, that should do run app. It's asking. Choose that. Okay, that's still good. So now the desktop, I mean the terminal below will prompt you. Okay, happen. The bottom region you're not seeing here. Yes. Can you see the menu? Maybe click the three dots. You know, run comes. Yeah, click on that. Run
The
comes on
output.
the right top corner. Normally shows up the green arrow. Right side on your ID, PyCharm ID. No, no, not this. Uh, Go click on the menu on the top.
It shows the output. I think it says running on HTTPS.
Correct. So yeah,
Or
click on that screen because typically the terminal at the bottom will have hmm, there will be a bottom terminal which when you click on that tab, terminal tab, it will show um, the URL, and then from there only you right click and open the browser. Okay.
yes, it shows the you.
So we are not seeing that out here. So can you click on the bottom terminal, please? Okay. Okay, we see hello world. Okay. So though, yeah, so that's running on a local development server. 127.0.0.1 stands for local host. Okay. But anytime this number comes up as IP address, it means local host. And 5000 is a default port provided to Flask. Okay, that means every time Flask setting, if you look, it runs on 5000. Okay, and hello world shows up. Okay, you can go back to the IDE. Some reason we are not seeing from here. Yeah, there it is. One moment. Excuse me. Let me see. The terminal at the bottom, that's what I was trying to see. Just hold on. There it is. Yes. So that's good. Excuse me. So when you run, what's actually happening? If you see just the purple line slightly pull up on the top where the purple C users, yeah. If you see that, it's running yeah, just scroll up slightly. Yeah, that's good. So if you see what's happening is it's running python.exe, our interpreter inside from that virtual environment with the app.py file. And when it runs, a default development server is running on localhost 5000. Okay. And you can right click this blue link to and what more is seen, it already opened it up and it's in debug mode, right? So you'll see below the 3 IP address entries 21 September like that, it already did a HTTP get. Okay, and pull up an icon. It resulted in success. 200 means success. So this is a debugger. Okay, it does track the get and the post activities. Okay, so here it's a plain read, so it just gets the information. So when you right click from this link, it opens the browser tab. And any other time you can refresh by clicking on this green in this arrow here on the corner, or you can stop the server with that red square box and rerun. Okay, like that. Okay, so fine. So that's good to run the initial app. Okay, so that's your first Flask app. Now, the slight variation on this, what we did, oh, it's my not starting today. Let me close my PyCharm and open it once again. Okay, continuing. Let's continue. PyCharm edition, close window. somehow doing something at my end. Okay. Never mind. We'll continue with your screen. Okay, Shriram. So you please share your screen. That's okay. I stop sharing from my end. And okay. So the next thing is, yeah, get back to the navigator on the left. I think you'll have to click on the folder or yeah. So the next thing is you will create a right click on Python project one. There, right, yeah, on the right click. You're going to create new directory. So there it is, third entry on the top, new directory. So here will be template files. Okay. So where it is prompting you, is it prompting? Yeah, T lowercase, T lowercase. Yeah, templates, Plates. And this is absolutely the way it should be. Okay. Don't put the T capital case or leave it as template. It will not work. So that's the way Flask is also. So templates and hit the enter button. Yeah. So that created the templates folder, and right click on that icon of templates and go to new HTML file this time. Yeah, we're going to create a HTML file. Here you call it index.html. .html. .html. Yeah. Enter. Okay, it gave you a default, uh, code there. You can put the title the way you want, Sriram's app, something like that. Yeah. Title appears a title of the window. Of course, the rest of the HTML template was already there. Okay, I think it's not going to take codes. Uh, let's see. Okay, and under, yeah, and then you have HTML body. Okay, inside which you can right put a h1 tag, h1 angle brackets, h1. Yeah, choose from there. Yeah, angle bracket, choose. Yeah, there you. And here you say let's call it some student app. Is simple student uh, student app. Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. So student app. Okay. Not a problem. You can title it uppercase or capital case on the S. The way you want. Okay. So this is going to be appearing as one subtopic like that. It's like, it's not topic, it's like a header inside your page. So what we created is a page which will, in the middle of it, yeah, you can put the S of student in capital case. Yeah. Um, in uppercase. Yeah. After H1, S of the student. No. S, the letter S for the word student, you can capitalize that. You can put it in uppercase. Yeah. S, yeah, S in capital case. Yes, there you are. And A also, yeah, if you want. Yeah, A. So what has happened is it's going to show it like one, title of the page, uh, header of the page. But title refers to the tab name. Okay, the tab name in the browser, that is what the title is. So Sriram's app. So, well, I don't think it will take that code, but you can leave it and see. Now what you do is, now we got this index.html. Now click on app.py. Now our app is to call that index.html. So just click on the tab for app.py. Yeah, Sriram. Yeah, in in the code editor, there is a tab app.py. Like, click on the tab there. Yeah, above the number 1. You are actually editing index.html. Each file is appearing in tabs. Yeah, now if you click there, yeah, that will show your code there. Okay. Okay, so no problem. So here, now this time over, we are going to change this return. Instead of returning a string, we have to return the um, index.html, correct? So you can comment this or you can remove the return. Okay, yeah, no problem. Just index.html. Yeah, go ahead. Index.html. Okay, however, to bring an HTML, you have to import after Flask, put a comma, and yeah, we have to put a comma space render underscore template. Yeah, pick that one. Yeah, and that render template is a Flask function which will render this index.html. So wrap this index.html as a parameter to render template function. So you'll say return, instead of directly putting index.html, you'll say at line 6, yeah, go to click before that index. Yeah, now pass this render template there. Render template. Yeah, choose that one, choose the menu. And inside the brackets, you'll use that index.html. Okay, index. And that appears in quotes. Okay, single quote. The index.html means single quote. Okay. Okay. So that's good. I think you just do a save and run. Okay. And the terminal. Yeah, there you are. Okay, student app zoomed up and Sriram's app. Yeah, its title is taken. Okay, that quote it took, right? So that's good. So your app is already showing what is called a static HTML file. Okay, the file is running, everything is running on a desktop inside a development server, and the server is rendering the file, which is index.html, which is a static HTML file. Okay, just it's showing plain text. Okay, so this is still a good application to start with. Now, hold on, really I'm being. So yeah, just take one pause here. Let me just pause it a moment. You can save the project. Okay. Come back to your PyCharm and save the project, and you can close this app also. Okay. And so far, yeah. So far, are you able to follow, understand what a simple app is doing here? In this case, we have created a static an app which shows a static web page. Okay, app which shows a static web page, and the server used as a development server. Okay, so and from that are okay. Okay, yeah, that's from your screen, right? You're sharing a screen, correct? Sriram, are you sharing the screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So this is a simple Flask app. Okay. You can remember it or you can just reuse the structure. Okay. The elements here are, we used an initialization part, the first two lines. Okay. Of course, some Flask module, the Flask we have imported, and then a Flask function render template, and then app equal to Flask. Then the second part is line 4 to 6, where the incoming route is linked with a Python function. In this case, that's the view. Okay, def index stands for the view. So the view has a route, and the route is linked to the view. What does the view do? View just renders an HTML. And the last part is, we are just simply doing the run of an app with app.run, debug mode, of course. Yeah. So that's, and then over here is an index.html, which you build to have a title and a header. Okay, header read student app, and the title read Sriram's page, right? Sriram's app, right? So that's the application. Okay. Now we take it to the next step. Now you can stop sharing. Let me. Okay. Okay. Just give me a moment. So hope you're able to relate to what you're seeing on the screen. Let me share. Okay. Can you see my screen, Jesslyn? Sriram?
Yeah.
Jesslyn, are you able to see the screen? Can you follow? I think I'm not hearing her. Jesslyn, are you able to follow the screen? Are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
okay. So far we did a simple static page in the application. Now what you're going to do is, we're going to create a to-do app. Okay. Simple to-do list will look like this. Okay. I don't need to tell again, but here is tasks which I want to do on a certain day-to-day basis. And when I add this task, what is the date it got added? It's showing a date. Okay. And there is a third column here, which is the way it is. Okay. Basically, once I add it, I should have some manner in which I can change this task. So there's an update link. When each of this row is having an update delete. So if I want to get rid of a certain task, I will click delete and it will go away. And if I want to change, suppose I want to exercise for 30 minutes, I can click update and it will change, allow me to change this from this task region. Okay. So when I have to change anything, like update or delete, you can click on these links. This is the actions column. Now, when I add fresh tasks, like here, start the Python class, I'm typing, or read newspaper or something like that. Buy milk, uh, it's added in the text below. And this button is a simple button to add that to my list. Okay. So the moment I click, enter the data in this text, which is called text content. I think it's a content field. This field has a name called content. Okay. And when you type some content into it, that the value is added by clicking on the add task button. Okay. So this is all pure HTML. Okay. So when the add task button is clicked, this task will disappear from here and get added to this list. The way it does is it goes to the database and it fetches. I mean, basically, this field is doing a post. I repeat, the data entered here, and anytime the user clicks a button where the data is sent to the server, that is a post. Okay, so that's a HTTP post. It goes to the server. Server is now going to have a database. What it will contain? A list of my to-do list tasks is in the database. The server in the post will insert that record to the database. And as soon as it's inserted, in here, we are going to do a HTTP GET. Okay, we're going to do a HTTP GET. The way we do that is by redirecting back to the default landing page, which is this page, the home page. Okay, here though you don't see that forward slash or that slash, though that is not there, still redirecting to home page is that slash in Python code where we put the route. In Python code, we're going to redirect back. So as soon as redirect back, what happens? A get happens. HTTP get fires for that time as soon as it's redirected. And when it does a get, it'll fetch the database values and show it once again. At that time, this start new class or start class at this 9 a.m. gets appended to my existing list. Prior to that, I might have had 3 items on my task list. Now the 4th item seemingly jumps from here to that list. Okay, but under the hood, all this operation happens like a post, a HTTP post, then writes to the database and then fetches it back from the database to show it on the list of tasks. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. So this is how HTTP post and HTTP get works. Okay. And the app will be, we'll be seeing. Now that's what I have put it here. Okay. To represent this schematically is what we have done here. Okay. So at the right in the middle, app.py. Okay. App.py is my main Python file. Now what it contains is a view with app.route. Okay. Each route will have, one path. Okay. So we'll be receiving for the landing page, or we'll be getting the landing page with that particular code which you wrote above the index, that app.route within bracket for a forward slash. Okay, that forward slash is going to take it to index. Okay, so to start here. Okay, so okay, so let me start here. To do app allows users to do the following action. I just talked about it. Adding a task to the to-do list, updating a task, and deleting a task. So the first thing is, as soon as you land on the landing page, a HTTP GET pulls all the tasks from the database and shows. That's the default behavior. Okay. How it is? Because you coded it so with the GET. Okay. You coded it so with the GET. Where was that coded? Let me just show that. I'll just pull this up. Okay, we saw that, where we did we did this route, at app.route within bracket the forward slash or that slash. So that is linked to render template of index HTML. So the HTML will just be pulled back. Okay, HTML will be pulled and shown. And what comes is coming from a to-do SQLite database. Okay, so data is fetched from a to-do SQLite is the type of the database, but I have a to-do name for that database. For the file which is stored at the database is a to-do database. Okay, SQLite is the type of database. To-do is a database. Now you might ask, what is this alchemy, right? You're seeing that Flask SQL alchemy. Okay, SQL alchemy. Learn. Okay, Flask SQL alchemy is a Python module to connect to the database. Okay, SQL alchemy is a Python module to which is used like other Flask module which you're using. This is a SQL alchemy module which you will use to connect to the database. So I repeat, the name of the database is to-do. The type of database is a SQLite database, and the module which is helping you is SQL alchemy. Okay, don't get scared. Those are only three things out there. Okay, for the database. So the view does the job of fetching the data, and then Flask is rendering the index.html with those records. So that's the first operation. The default page will query the data and show it back to me. Okay. The next thing is out here. Local host. I mean, you see this text box. Now back in our HTML primer, okay, we saw what a form tag is. Within angle brackets, you see this word inside with this action as the landing page and method is post. That is a form inside which a default um, text item is appearing. Okay, default text box is appearing. Okay, uh, so that's with the form. Okay, so what it is telling, it's telling action is equal to forward slash method is post. Then it will of course that also have one text box. We'll see the code, and that's going to create a HTML text item inside, and we'll also add one add a task button. Okay, another item of a type button will be added. Okay, we'll see the code, but this is a high level of it. So then these two are allowing you to type in a field, and when you click on the add task button, a post operation happens. Okay, we'll see what goes inside a post, but that is the post operation. Now, there is also another page, much like an index page, much like this. See, this text box is where below this on the index page in HTML wise, the form and that is appearing at the bottom of the task list. Okay, so whereas update.html is another HTML which will not have this task list, but it will only have much like this form. Okay, it will have a text box and an add task. See, this update.html is page number 2. It's a separate page. Okay, what it does is when the user clicks on this link, it fetches this text and populates it in this text box. It fetches exercise for 15 minutes. If I click next to update, it fetches self-study at till 7 a.m. when you click on the update next to that. So based on where you clicked, each of these HTML link reading update will fetch its corresponding value and populate it here in this box. Now, and it's going to allow you to edit it. Okay, so if I say exercise for 15 minutes, if I click the update there, it'll allow me to edit 15 and change it to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like that. Okay, so that's the update page. Okay, and the same index page has the delete button. Click on the delete. Okay, so wait, on this side is the link for update and delete, but yeah, the part what the browser is sending for the update page. Once you build this page, now you are to render this page. When the user clicks on the link for update, that's what I'm showing here. The user can click the link on update. A HTTP put operation is going to put the modified value back to the server. You could do by clicking on this link for update. Okay. Alternatively, you can also go on the URL where the landing page is there. You can use this /update/ the record ID. Each of these is given a record ID. Each of the record in the database can be pulled up in this path of the URL. So when we code this update, you will see that part of it. This is a task ID. Though it's not shown on the screen, internally in the SQL database, we're going to be issuing an ID for each record. Every task will have an identity or ID that goes like 1, 2, 3, like that. So if you build on the browser URL, update/1 or update/2, it'll allow you to directly edit that particular and bring this page. So that's how the route here, see this is a route in the URL is tied to the page by whom? By the view. Okay. So that's how the form action will be. The form code will look like form action is equal to /update/task.id. And when you fetch, the task is the record in the database. Task is the database record or the database object. So that will have an ID column. So what we are saying is task.id can represent 1, 2. And you have to show the value of task.id, you put it in flower brackets. This is HTML. We are putting it like this in the code. And the method is post. Okay. So this format of the URL is what's there in the action. Okay. So then what happens is it will fetch that particular record and do a post method for the update, do a post or even a put method into the database. Okay. So anytime when you write, it is a post by default, but it can also be a put, and that's for the update. Okay. Now, localhost/delete/2, you could build up in the URL to delete a specific record directly. You'll not have any prompt back. But when you go normally to this screen and let's say you click on the delete link, it'll pass this action to the route, and in the route, in the view, the route will be like pointing to delete a record. Okay, at the database. At the database, we delete a record. Once we make any database change, normally there is a save operation called the commit. Okay, commit, which commits a record in the database. So this is the overall view of the operations. Typically create, okay, we saw the landing page does a read. So create, read, update, delete, called the CRUD. Okay, in any of your application, you have to have certain allocation or how you handle the CRUD operation. Typical database operation of records. When you're operating, you'll have to code for the CRUD operations. Okay, it's like read, create, read, update, and delete. Common design term called CRUD. Okay, so that's what this is, and I will show. Let me see. So that's overall how the app will look like. Okay, now this page and all that is what we'll see. Um, so far, any questions? Yeah. It might look a little hazy because I did a walkthrough at a deep level, but that understanding is required, and that perspective of doing the CRUD is required for what is the development on this. Okay, without which it will look like it's all no, it's not clear. So that's why this slide is important. Okay, now what we can do. I start this once again. Uh, so these errors, any messages coming on the right side, you can close it off. Okay, that's not really a concern. Let me open an existing one. Okay, so I'm going to open an existing project. Hmm. Yeah. Let me see. All right. Okay. Not the one I wanted to open. Pardon me. Task dev. Okay. Uh, okay. So here is okay. So step by step, don't get overwhelmed. a little bit of code, but I will guide you through. First, let's understand the code. Okay. There is a database connection required. Okay. Now, when you start off, this is the same app.py. This main is sitting there by default. I don't need it. Let it be. Okay. But my app is in app.py. Okay. So here you used earlier Flask import, Flask and render template. There are other Flask functions you will be seeing. URL for some CSS and all that. Request and redirect. I told you, redirect back to the landing page. So that's a redirect function. Okay. Request is another function. So these are functions which you will be also using. Okay. Send file, all that. Okay. So redirect most important here. And of course, request. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a configuration. Earlier, you had this app is equal to Flask and name, right? This created the application. Now you're going to create a database connection. Okay. There is a SQL object, SQL alchemy object, which you need. So you will go and install. You don't do anything. I'm just going to do a walkthrough for now. So when I go to settings, now you would install this Flask SQL Alchemy module. Okay. So Flask dev is my name, Python interpreter. The package which I'm going to install here will be Flask SQL Alchemy. Okay, so like that, Flask SQL Alchemy. So Flask upper K, Flask with the capital case or uppercase, Flask. Okay, well, it comes, oh yeah, Flask is there, Flask SQL Alchemy. It's out there, don't not to bother. Okay, but that could be from a lower. Yeah, there you are. Flask SQL Alchemy. If you click on it, you will see it's specified as add SQL Alchemy support to your Flask application. Whenever you want to have database, SQL-like database to be added to your application, you will use this module, Flask SQL Alchemy. And of course, the specific version you will install. I'm not going to install right now, though there is some difference in the version. Let's park that setting. I close. So what it allows you to do is you have to include this code from Flask underscore SQL Alchemy, like all lowercase. There you install uppercase with the capital case. But here from Flask underscore SQL Alchemy is all lowercase. Import SQL Alchemy. Okay, SQL Alchemy object. This allows you to create, you see what's going on here. App was your application. That app is passed as a argument to the SQL Alchemy object, and then you get a database object. Okay, this is your database. So here at line 8 here, you're linking the database with the SQL Alchemy module to the app. Okay, now what more is the actual database configuration is here. Okay, app.config. Yes, you created app earlier and you showed us app.run, but here you're going to configure app.config. This is purely, these two lines are pure syntax. Okay, just lift and put it onto your code. What it does is it creates a database, SQL Alchemy Database URI, standing for Uniform Resource Identifier. Okay, URI or Uniform Resource Identifier represents a database is equal to SQLite colon three forward slashes to do dot SQLite 3. Just pure syntax. This is the type. This is the name of the database. Dot SQLite 3. Okay. Inside single quote. That's line 6 and line 7. App.config SQL Alchemy track modification is false. That means we are not going to keep auditing on the database. Track modification false. Now that is your configuration and now that app is passed as an argument here to get to database. Step 1. This is 6 to 8 is configuration code for your database. Then on, you are set to create the database table. And you've seen earlier that the model is a representation of the database table in the database. The model is the application representation of your database table. And here, you don't have to remember to create a SQL statement like you did in create department, create emp in the SQL primers class. We did a SQL basics class. There we created some SQL statements and created a table, handle some records there and all. Here, you'll not need all that. You not need all that. And what it does here is we create a Python class to do. Now that is inheriting from db.model. This db has a superset called model, which allows you to inherit from there and create your own child class. Okay, we have parent class, child class concept. So db.model is available inside this db object. When you put that db.model as a syntax within the bracket for creating your class, this to-do class becomes an inherited class from the parent class db.model. That means you're creating your own model. That model will have columns same like the column of the database. Okay, so that's what db.column, db.column integer, db.column within bracket db.string, db.column, third column is db.datetime. These columns are created from the model. Okay, what is here? Primary key is true. So I'm issuing an internal ID, okay, where to identify each row with ID, primary key is equal to true. Okay, that means the unique ID identifying each record of the table, each record of the to-do table. So these columns will go sit in the database. You don't have to write SQL statements for it. When we create a Python to-do class, the table gets automatically created in the SQLite database. And with these definitions, this is a string of 200 length. And that's where I told this is that content field. This is the task being added. This is your task and this is date created of the task columns. So these two columns are there. Okay. Nullable is false. Nullable is false. That cannot be left null, blank. Null means blank. Cannot be left blank. So these are the field definitions of this class. Okay. Now, yeah, we just created a class here. Okay. Then we have a wrapper, means that when you call that class, it will give a name for each of the object with this syntax. Task %r %self.id. Self.id representing the ID. That means each row, when you call, it will be having the name, task, and the number. Okay, this is purely syntax, just following that. It will return that. Repr standing for representation, short form. These are double underscore methods, drunder methods. Okay, uh, just syntax. What it does, instead of identifying rows as row 1, row 2, row 3, when you call row 3, it will give the name, it will give the tasks representation, task ID inside here. When you say percent, it's a format, and this is a string here. That means it will just return its ID. Okay, return its ID. We'll see what this repr does. Okay. Now, this so far is syntax. Don't get scared. When you create a table, a model is created, and you don't have to bother anything else at the database level. This is from the application level. Okay, what you're doing here, we are creating a to-do table at the database from the application. Okay, that's this code. Now that class will be used here in this. Okay, now when you go to line 18, this is all familiar. App.route is the /. Okay, methods post and get being used. This is syntax. Okay, now the view is index. Def index, what you did earlier, you showed a static HTML, index.html. But now what you're going to do, unlike in the earlier example, we showed a static page for student app. Here we are going to read. So I'll read if request.method is equal to post. That means there is a request object. Okay. Dot method. Where is this request object? I am using it here. This is all Flask. Okay. Flask allows you to create all this. So I'm checking if post operation, then read the requests forms content field. Content is that text box where you add the task. Okay. So request dot form within bracket single quote content is this field. Content is one of the field in the database. Okay. But where it is showing on the form, that's request dot form means on the page, on the form. Let me just go there one quick moment. On the form, sorry. On the form. This field is content. That means HTML form and this field. Okay, that is what we're doing here. On the form, the request dot form within square bracket, within quote content, what you wrote there is going to be my task. Okay, and that specific data is passed as an argument to the to-do class. To-do, earlier we said vehicle, a truck name, Tata Ace, like that we assigned. No, here we're going to say, we are saying that, or person, we assigned Sriram, like that. So this is a class name to do what we created here. Within bracket, content is equal to this task content. So these two lines of code, what it does, it reads from the text box and gets it to a new task record in this object. This is now a new task row. Okay. Then if that's the case, then we go to try db.session.add. Again syntax. Where is this? db.session is at the database. Okay, where you inherited this db.session is the database. This just says that you add this task to the database. db.session.add within bracket My task is going to the database. And then once you added the record to the database to save it, this is again syntax dot commit. Okay. So after writing to the database and saving it, we are redirecting, this say return, redirect home page or landing page. So that's what I said. After writing it, you'll call the records once again by redirecting to the home page. When you redirect to the home page, again, one more time app.route comes here and does a get. So when it comes to the get inside your view, it's no longer post, it'll come to the else part. Now see what happens. At the get, it goes to this syntax to fetch all the records from the database to do query order by the date created. That means older date task is above. Okay. This order by is ordering by ascending order of what column to do date created. So the older task is above. Okay. Now the older task is here. It is above. It's above. And dot all. So it fetches all the rows, including the one which you committed, and that is tasks. That's now in the set of, it's a row set. Okay. Now that task is passed to render template HTML as what? As context. This is the context. The purple one is saying task is equal to task. So that's a context. Okay. So earlier I mentioned, no, there are a list of blogs. You click on a specific blog, that blog's detail has to fetch. So there the context, the details of the blog. Here the context is a list of all the objects of the to-do list. So what will happen if I send 4 rows? I'm sending the 4 rows here to this index.html along with the index.html. So the index.html will have this context name task inside it. We'll see that. Okay. So that is how the data is transferred into the HTML, where the context is equal to rows here. Rows were from the database. Okay. That's the query. A query means it fetches the records from the database. So this is on the get part, and then that's the end of that code. So here, this is your post and the get operation on the route like this, on the landing page. Is this clear? Anything not clear? Of course, it's new, so I'm going like step by step, walking through. Now we have coded for the landing page and the index.html page. I shared back this schematic for the update. Okay, so we have done this. Okay, we did a post and a get. Okay, now for the update, however, okay, when you click on this link, this field, this HTML will have a field similar to that text box at the bottom of the landing page, and it will fetch the value, right? It will fetch the value. So how is that happening? You see, app.route is now no longer this single // It can receive a /update/int:/ID. So it can receive the ID with this URL in the browser. The moment you go to landing page and put /update/ a number, it'll fetch that record ID from the database. Okay, so that we are setting it as a route for the get and the post, and we have a view def update which takes a parameter ID. Okay, this ID will get substituted here. Now what's happening here is when you click, that specific ID is coming. Maybe it's the second row with number 2 or the third or fourth, like that. That number is coming here. So that number is passed to do.query.get. So you don't have to write SQL statements here. The class or the model is to do dot query dot get or 404 for the ID, it will fetch that specific record. If the record ID is not there in the database, it will cause a 404 error. Okay, that is done with one single function, get or 404. If it found that record, fetch it. If it did not find a record, it will give a 404 error. Okay, that's a typical record not found or page not found error. Okay, so that is fetched for that detail of that specific task to be updated. Put as a specific row in this object for that task. If it's task 5, this is task. Okay, then what we're doing now, that's fetched back to the page. Okay, and for request.method is post, it is reading the changed value of the task from the content field of in the form. Request.form.content, read and set it as the task to do task new content. So task.content is the new record read from what the user put it on the screen, which is screen is always request.form and the field. Okay, so I've changed exercise for 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So this is the 30 minutes. You'll get assigned to task.content. And then at the database, we just do a session commit. Commit saves the record. Following the change, redirect back to landing page. So when you redirect back, the changed row will show. It will no longer show this particular exercise for 15 minutes. It will show the changed value. Exercise for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, like that. Okay, so that's how the update works. Okay, so same logic here. Request is going through a post. We're redirected after writing. Then at the landing page, the get happens. The else of this request.method is equal to post is the get. The get will do what? We are rendering what page? Update page. Okay, the first time you go to click, it has to show the update page with the context. Okay, with that specific record. No, that is what we have done in the first row. At this ID, the fifth task of, let's say, fifth row is fetched, and it comes to the else and passes that fifth row to the update page. That's how the page is showing that edited the link. Okay, I mean, I clicked on this update for the second row. Okay, that specific click is a context. Okay, and that is what we're passing here. So that click means fifth row or second row is in your task, and that is passed to the context inside the update page. So inside the update page, there will be one field for this task. Okay, and it's going to render the page with that task. So that's why the moment you click here, it will show the edited, it show the existing data, and then you will start modifying. So that's the update. Simply put, the update has code for the post and the get, much like the creators, much like the landing page, post and the get. Okay. Then the last one is for the delete. That means when you have to remove the record, that's this delete. Click on the delete, this record will vanish from the screen. It will also vanish from the database. So that route, app.route is /delete/int:/id. This is a syntax with the angle brackets. Int: means it will go to a specific ID. So that's def delete with the ID passed, and we have a task to delete is to-do.query get or 404. This is my current task to delete. At the database level, it's simple db.session.delete, and pass this task. The task will get deleted. As soon as the record in the database is deleted, you commit to permanently change that delete operation. That means the record will permanently go away. Okay, db.session.commit. It's like a save. Okay, and then it redirects back, comes back to the main page. Now at the very end of it, where earlier you were doing app.run, this was only line in your static file which was shown up as student app. Okay, if name is equal to main app.run, but we will also include these two lines of code because the app context, which is the specific configuration, is with that context, we are going to create the database. The database is with, see, we linked up the database to the app with the SQL Alchemy. And we created the tables model. We created the model for the application, right? So all these operations we are doing with app.app context, purely syntax. Okay, with this context, what we're doing, we're creating a db.createAll. This database is created. So that means the connection, then this structure of the database with this columns, everything gets created as a table. The to-do name we given here, that this is the name of the database, will get created when the app is run. Just before the app is run, the database will get created. Okay, simple way to remember this or understand this is earlier you were doing app.run to run there. Now app.context db.createAll. Again, syntax blue code. I mean, take it and just use it as it is. What it does when the app runs is it will create one file here. I mean, for now I have not run anything, but it will create one file, and that file is your database. It will create the SQLite to-do.SQLite at the database. Okay, so that's what will happen. Are you able to follow this so far? Anything not clear? Of course, here date time column for the date time is date time UTC now. This is the current date time in UTC, and we have imported the date time. Way back we have done that. Okay. So these are the various parts. Once you import these, set the app, blue code for the context for the database. Blue code for the configuration of the database, these few lines. App is passed as an argument to SQL Alchemy in the database object. Well, you create the model next. This is the wrapper. And then you go about coding the view. Okay, you code the view app.route, request is post, request is get. Here, get receives all the rows, render the template, post writes the record to the database and commits. Same approach for update. It fetches the specific ID of passing. Reads the record from the screen, writes it to the database. Okay, and then render template, update template is showing the specific link you clicked. Now, and delete is coded like that. Delete db.session.delete, delete that specific task and commit. Now, you don't have to remember everything, but this is how a database specific application works. Okay. Now, I have not shown this part where the template earlier was just an index.html. Now, in Flask, we have the template inheritance concept. So what it does is, here is in Flask template engine, Flask uses the Ginger 2 template engine for simplifying the HTML. So only one base.html, earlier I mentioned this, we'll have the HTML tags, the head tag, and the body tag. These tags are extra lines of code and redundant. So we'll have it in base.html. In index.html, we'll just say extends. That means it's borrowing, extends from base.html. So one time you code base.html, every other time you don't have to write the head tag, body tag, HTML tag and all that. This starts off straight as the first line of code should be like this. Flower percent extends base.html. One time this tags will be there. The next ones you don't have to enter any of the HTML tag. Okay. Of course, inside tags of HTML and all that will be there, but this wrapper will not be there. Okay. And this syntax is on block, end block notation. This is syntax inside head and the body tags. Block, end block is there representing the head, title, taskmaster, and here block div context. This is HTML. Okay, this is HTML. Now, I mentioned that HTML, here is a div. Div means a division. Okay, div is a division, class is content. Okay, and here is your head, titling. Okay, head taskmaster, like you have student app. If task length, I think we'll park here. I mean, this just is showing the format. We'll walk through this. It's just a small piece of code, but there is more to it. I will continue it in tomorrow's session. Okay. Is that fine? Because this part is a little more. I don't want to stretch it out in this current session. We'll continue this session in tomorrow's. Tomorrow at 6:30 our time and 9 your time. For now, is that fine? Because I don't want it to be a heavy lifting right here. Let me just run this to show you how it looks, because that will be, yeah, here's Python app.py. Okay, open in Chrome. Are you seeing the app, Sriram? Jesslyn?
I
Do
just
you
saw
see
my
the app?
file.
Jesslyn, are you able to see the app? Okay. Are you seeing the app? Ah, okay. So it's now rendering everything from the database. Okay. This is there. Let me add something here. I'm saying okay. By Mel, I'm adding some task. Okay. So I click on add task. See, by milk went in. Okay. By milk here went into the system. And it everything looked quick. It just seemingly jumped from here to there. So if I just do by newspaper or say read newspaper, something like that, and it just looks seamless. But you can see what happens internally. That the form is reading, writing to a database, a get has happened, everything's happening so quickly. Okay. Now, if I have to modify, click update, see it showed up the update page and look at that URL. Okay. Python class starts, let's say at 9 a.m. Okay. Update. Practice Python labs at 9 a.m. So the URL is pointing to /update and the task ID. I clicked on that and I click update. See, it changed. That means update posted it and then it did a get, read all the records from the database, the change record came back. Okay. So and then a delete just remove that. Okay. If I delete read newspaper, it just removed that. So this is your to-do list. Okay. We will continue in tomorrow's session. Okay. Where there are some things on the HTML, how this page is written in HTML and all that. Okay. So far, are you able to follow along? Does it look too much? Any? This is a simple application for the course. Okay, we are showing how a typical Flask application can be built and deployed. Okay. All right. I will wrap it up here. Any questions? Anything you did?
Sir, for my PyCharm, the code it wouldn't let me, it stopped working for some reason, the PyCharm app. So I've been trying to fix it once.
Oh, is it? Uh,
Yeah, so and it seems like it's working now, but there's some like codes and parts missing. So I'm not sure.
we will look at it tomorrow. Is that fine? Or you want to share the screen now?
We can look at it tomorrow. That's possible.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay. I'll wrap it up here then. Have a good day.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
Take care. Thank you. Thank you.